our lives are in a constant state of flux. That much is for certain. And I often compare our lives to that of the ocean. Sometimes it's placid and calm, and other times it's a raging squall. But the one commonality we all have is we're always on the hunt for that lighthouse, that beacon of light to guide us in to safe harbor and to alert us when there are rocks and other pitfalls that will otherwise damage us. And sometimes it works, and other times it guides us to floundering ships, or ships that are in need of saving. And for a lot of us, we put our own risk to take care of others, to mend them, even if it causes further hindrance to us on our journey. And I feel like that happens to a lot of us. We put ourselves on the back burner to help others, and that does a lot more damage than we want to think about or even care to think about. But that's what I want to talk about tonight, is self-care. Now, I've talked about this in a lot of other interludes, but for me, this is a new concept for me. For the longest time, I never really knew what self-care was. I was always putting myself in last place to put others ahead of me. Not because I thought that, I was doing them any favors, but because of one reason or the next. And check my other interludes if you guys want more information on that. But over the recent weeks, I've definitely felt the toll of not taking care of myself. And I've talked to Ray about this a lot, and I've actually talked to Connor a little bit about this as well, and Ray voiced it perfectly. Imagine we're all like phones, where our batteries are constantly draining, and a lot of the times we use our chargers to fill us back up. But a lot of other times we use our chargers to charge other people back. But how can we charge another person if our batteries are draining, if our batteries are dying or dead or anything like that? We can't. But we still try. And I feel like a lot of us neglect self-care for one reason or the next, but I think the biggest cause is it's often misconstrued that self-care is different from being selfish. Now, yes, it can be easily misconstrued. There is a line between being selfish and caring for ourselves, and obviously the word self is the root word for both of them. But I feel like, despite the line between the two, it's very blurry. And what it comes down to is, at the end of the day, we have to live with ourselves. How we're feeling, how we're thinking, how we're performing, how we're behaving. And we have to take a good hard look at ourselves to figure out what has to be done to charge ourselves or to fix our boats so we can continue to sail along on our journeys. Now, for me personally, like I said, I tend to go out of my way to help other people, even at the cost of damaging myself. And I'm not trying to say that to paint me as a victim or to paint myself in a flattering light. It's just me. And for the longest time, it was normal for me, even if I wasn't finding joy in it. I mean, there'd be times in the back of my mind would be screaming at me, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? You're not getting anything out of this. You are just helping another person without expecting anything back." And there's nothing wrong with that. I love helping other people. I love going beyond the call of duty, whether it's professionally, whether it's personally, whether it's for romantic sparks, whether it's for family obligations. It's just how I am. But if there's no joy in doing it, or you're just doing it for empty reasons, there's no point. You're only hurting yourself for the benefit of others. And if you can't take care of yourself, then what's the point? And for the longest time, I'm just now starting to hear that voice saying, "What in God's name are you doing, Knight? Why? Why are you hurting yourself?" And how do I phrase this? Sometimes The writing is on the wall, 10 feet tall in neon paint, and we still don't look at it. And I've had people close to me say, look, dude, why? You're damaging yourself. You're getting nothing out of it. These relationships are parasitic. They're not symbiotic. And it still took time for me. And it took for me to realize I've hit burnout in every aspect, to finally see the writing on the wall and stop and think, what can I do to take care of myself? And it's still tough for me because it's what I've done for 30 plus years. I'm going to be 37 in 2 weeks, and I still, how do I put this? I gotta think. It's been a long day, y'all. Doing things for the sake of doing things and taking no joy out of it. And it's true. I mean, for the past several months, I have felt absolutely zero joy in anything. From work, doing it just to do it, recording because I like recording. I really do. But sometimes I just don't have it in my power to sit down and record and talk and be this person that's expected of me. And helping others even at the cost of damaging myself, knowing that there's going to be no benefit for me, short-term or long-term, and that it's going to be one and done. It's an emotional one-night stand. I help them, goodbye, see you later, nothing. And that's damaging because we need symbiosis. We need synergy to work, to function. We can't be lone wolves all the time, even though it might be the pattern that we've done for a long time and maybe a short pattern. But at the end of the day, we need a pack. We need a cohesive relationship, whether it's professional, personal, doesn't matter. And sometimes we have to be roasted, burnt out, charred, whatever, to realize we are at our wits' end and make us think about what can we do for self-care. Truly. And I'm not talking about exploiting situations like say, hey, you do this and maybe I'll be better, maybe I'll get back to you sometime, nerd. No, I mean, but genuinely deep down, what can we do to recharge? And I thought about this for a while, for starters, and I talked to Ray about it too. And that's why I'm taking a sabbatical from Twitter and other social media, with the exception of my Discord. And I've asked people just to respect my silence, and it's just because I can't do anything more. I work. I'm sort of taking a break from recording. I mean, I've got a decent backlog, so videos are going up as per usual, but for me, a form of self-care is just being still, listening to my heartbeat, my breath, having a fun conversation within limits. And it's even hard for me because, as I said in numerous interludes before, it's extremely hard for me to complain about myself, to talk about myself unless asked. Because for 30 plus years, that's how I've been. Don't talk, actions speak louder than words. People don't want to listen to people bitch. People don't want to listen to people whine. So I would give. And this went on for decades. And here I am now. I mean, just completely fried. I mean, I'm not sleeping. I smoke like a freight train. Just working and doing stuff for the sake of just doing, without knowing what it is that I want, or specifically what it is that I need. And I've been steering through uncharted waters, trying to figure out what I need. And that's the big question we have to ask ourselves, is what do we need to recharge? Is it to be heard? Is it to be silent? Is it solace? Is it a hobby? Is it, I'm not going to say a vice, is it a habit that we proactively and positively use and do? What is it? What can we do to feel better as individuals? And here's where the end point is. We have to live with ourselves. Nobody can tell us what we are or who we are inside. They can suggest, they could give unsolicited advice, but we have to make that decision. And for me, I don't know, but I'm starting to find my voice. And when I get that unsolicited advice, or people switch it so it's like, well, here's why my life sucks, I'm finding my way to assertively say, yo, I'm sorry, but I cannot do this right now. And the damage is done for several relationships, and there are some relationships I probably won't ever get back, and I accept that. And there are some relationships that I don't know how to mend fences, but it's because, without making excuses, it's because of the state that I'm in, is that it's time for me to focus on myself. I'm not just talking about the project, I'm not just talking about what I want out of life from work or anything else. It's about resetting and restarting. Like, my foundations are burnt to the ground, and it's time to start building those foundations back up. And I know a lot of people in similar situations as me that are trying to figure that out. So I pass the question off to y'all. How do you care for yourselves, whether it's in the short run or is it in the long run? Where have you gone on your journey to realize this is what needs to be done to care about myself? To just quickly delve into selfishness. Yes, it can be easily misconstrued, like I said, that this person's being selfish, this person doesn't care. But it's about listening and just taking a hard look at, what has this person been through? What has this person gone through? And what have they done for me? Or more importantly, what have I done for them? Even if it's just giving them their space. And there's a big, big difference between exploiting and just stopping. And you can stop what you're doing and take a hard look at yourself and politely but assertively say, you know what? I'm putting on my armor now. Because recharge batteries give us a fresh look at life, a fresh look at the world around us, but we have to take care of ourselves. And that's the biggest thing that I can think of. I'm probably going to return to social media in a week or so, maybe a little bit longer, I don't know. But it's time for me to sit down and really parse and process what I've gone through, where I am now. And I want y'all out there that are feeling burnt out or feeling like there's no joy, or that you've lost your spark, that you've lost that ember. What does it for you? How can you do it? Because this journey's not going to stop. This is a class we don't graduate from. So we have to figure out the best lectures and labs to push ourselves forward, day by day, breath by breath. So I want y'all to think for 12 to 24 hours and come up with the best way you can care about yourself. And if you want to share it, post it in the comments. And when I do come back to social media, with the exception of my Discord, which I'm still actively in, as well as a few DMs of people that are important to me. If you do DM me, I might get back to you. I can't promise anything. But for those people that have reached out to show support, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, really do appreciate it. But if you want to share, awesome. If not, it's cool too. But what I hope at the end of the day, for those that do watch this in their entirety, because who knows if I'm making sense or not, I hope that maybe you can find some way to think of ways to care about yourself, whether you need it now, whether you need it later. Because I believe in that, and I believe in you.